Well, Walmart has decided they're going to get rid of their DEI policies. Why? Because right-wing conservatives have been targeting a number of public companies, telling them they don't like what their support for transgender, LGBTQ, as well as Black folks and other minorities. This is the Walmart U.S. CEO speaking this morning on CBS This Morning, explaining their decision. Of course, Walmart is America's largest employer, one of the biggest companies in the world. So this is a huge decision. Listen.
Well, first of all, good morning and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in Houston, Texas, in our Friendswood location, so it's exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey and we continue to be on a journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years. Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
Is diversity among your suppliers still important to you at Walmart, John?
Well, starting with our company back in 1962, we were a small business, a single store that operated out of Rogers, Arkansas. And so we'll continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to being successful, not only at Walmart, but in their business in total. You know, every year we really focus on made in the USA. About 2/3 of what we sell is either made, grown, or assembled right here in the United States. We have a program every summer called Open Call, where we welcome in small suppliers and we welcome in people that have an idea, that are an entrepreneur and they want to learn. So we're going to continue to lean into ensuring that we provide the very best pathways for small businesses, our suppliers, to be successful here in the store. If I had more time, I could take you around the store and show you a few of those examples, but there are a lot of them and there'll continue to be more.
Okay, right. So first of all, you saw right there, he didn't answer Gayle King's question. He didn't answer it at all. There also was this $100 million initiative that they had announced after the death of George Floyd. They're getting rid of that. It was they also were funding what it was called a Center for Racial Equity, a nonprofit that Walmart launched in 2020. Supposed to be a 5-year initiative, and so that's also being shuttered. Let's just be real, Randy. What's going on here? This is a part of the attack against critical race theory, part of the attack on affirmative action. This is all about the right-wing agenda. They have been targeting Harley Davidson, John Deere, numerous companies. They've been targeting law firms. This is what this is all about. And the problem is corporate America. They're showing how gutless they are. They're showing how they are scared. Oh my God, we don't want to be attacked by Trump and the right. And so that's all this is. And I remember I was in Los Angeles. It was NAACP panel, and it was a DEI panel, and I was going hard. And people were like, dog, why are you going so hard? I said, because I'm trying to tell y'all this is about to end. I said, unless you have a strong counterattack, I said, these white corporations, their knees are going to buckle. They are not going to stand up to these right wingers. And guess what? All of that stuff, and here we are. It'll be 5 years in May since George Floyd was killed. And I told folk, I said, I'll be shocked if we get to the 5th year. We barely had 3 years.
Right. And I want people to know, when you talk about attacking, it's not just that they are writing articles or doing interviews. They are filing lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits. These small law firms, but they're powerful, are filing these lawsuits that companies then have to fight against, saying that woke policies or any DEI initiatives are in fact discriminatory, which is completely the opposite of what the problem is. DEI was there to fix discriminatory problems, but they have flipped it around and are using again the term reverse reverse discrimination, reverse racism, which is no such thing as reverse racism. It's not even a real concept. It does not exist. But this is what is the problem. And these corporations are buckling under the pressure. And I really want people to understand the impact of that, because what that means is that a person trying to get a job at Walmart, yes, we understand that's going to be an issue, but also a person who's trying to sell their products in Walmart. They are not going to actively seek out or retain the people they have now that are under any underrepresented group. That's women, that's LGBTQIA, that's Black, Latino, that's Asian, that's people with disabilities, that's women. And so what they're saying is what they're saying is they're evening out the playing ground, because they have said, are trying to suggest that we are all have equal chances in America. We all have equal chance to make it. But what DEI does is it gives us an unfair advantage. Now, it is laughable that I, as a Black woman, has an unfair advantage over a heterosexual white man. We know that's a joke, right? We see who the president of Walmart is, but that's what they're suggesting. And so, of course, the opportunity for me to even sell, to supply, is going to be a problem. But they're to advertise on shows like yours, Martin, Roland, is completely not going to exist. They're going to make it where what they have is what they consider a fair playing ground, and everybody's on it. I mean, it is quite scary that here we have the largest employer saying we no longer will have DEI initiatives, which also means they won't be looking at it. So they won't be looking at how they're functioning as a store. So if the store has employees that 95% of them are white and male, that's fine. There's no one there to check them on it. And that is what the workforce used to look like. DEI was supposed to work against that. That was the only reason that it was formed, is because of biases, people hire like people. And because of our history in this country, most of the people in charge are cishet white males, and they hire white males, and they do business with white males, and they bring in suppliers that are white males, and they pay more to white males. What they're saying though is, no, we now as white males feel as if we've been discriminated against just for the little slice of pie that these DEI initiatives offered to people. And so we'll sue you if they continue. Also, what's scary is that they're wiping out any kind of education. So you're going to have a workforce of people who are not educated on how to deal with people that are different from them. And so the workforce, I promise you, will be hostile. They won't be, if you do get a job there, now it's more difficult if you're from an underrepresented group. But when you do get the job, the chances of being treated well, that you feel included and like you're in a safe environment, those chances have gone down. So, and if Walmart has done it, the sad thing is that other corporations are definitely going to follow suit. So I feel very nervous for everyone involved. I mean, I don't think people, like, again, I know I'm going on and on, but even like truckers, I mean, there's the people who bring in the supplies from people. There are contracts that say, okay, we're going to give 5% of our contracts to minority truckers. Nope. That's gone now. Even that 5% is gone. And so it wasn't like we were getting much in the first place, but it's now non-existent. And even the term DEI, they can't even use the term. They have made it where it cannot be used in any materials or discussed at all. And the term Latinx. If you want to talk about the level of control that these law firms that are doing these lawsuits are having, they're making them so scared to even say the word, much less implement policies. It's dangerous. And, we really need to start having some discussions as Black organizations and as individuals of how we counteract this.
This is all because this right winger right here, Robbie Starbuck, hit them last week and said, I'm going to be releasing a story on all of your woke policies. And so right here, last week I told execs at Walmart that I was doing a story on wokeness there. Instead, we had productive conversations to find solutions. And so Walmart totally caved. Walmart will no longer participate in the human rights campaign's what they call woke corporate equality index. Products. Monitor the Walmart marketplace to identify and remove inappropriate sexual and or transgender products marketed to children. Review all funding of Pride and other events to avoid funding inappropriate sexualized content targeting kids. Y'all, let me be real clear. This ain't just about transgender, y'all. They want them to stop funding black groups as well. Walmart not extending their racial equity center. Supposed to be 5 years, didn't even get to the 4th year. Look at this here. We will evaluate supplier diversity programs and ensure they do not provide preferential treatment and benefits to suppliers based on diversity. We don't have quotas and won't going forward. Financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic data. Do y'all see? Walmart will no longer use Latinx. Walmart will discontinue racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Walmart will discontinue the use of DEI as a term while assuring a respectful and supportive environment. Our focus is on belonging for all associates and customers. Total bullshit. And so here's a company, y'all. And again, they're gloating. Look what he says. We've now changed policy at companies worth over $2 trillion. That's what they do. Look at this. Our campaigns are now so effective that we're getting the biggest companies on earth to change their policies without me even posting a story outlining their woke policies. Companies can clearly see that America wants normalcy back. The era of wokeness is dying right in front of our eyes. The landscape of corporate America is quickly shifting to sanity and neutrality. We're now the trend, not the anomaly. Joe, did I not call it?
Yeah, I mean,
I try. I've been telling everybody since 2009, we're living in the age of white minority resistance. And these white folks like this guy right here, they want to get rid of any program that helps black folks or any other minority group. And in their minds, oh, no, we don't want just 95% of the money. We want all of the money.
Right. And so much so that if without, soliciting, openly certain companies and suppliers that you get to 5%, the Walmarts of the world, they might get sued just because they got to 5%. And that underlying that is nothing short of entitlement. For so many in this society have had, particularly white folks, have had the force of tradition, the force of legacy, the force of relationships, affirmative action, and things like that. And DEI were about having the force of law because we didn't have anything else. And so switching that back is not about, restoring fairness. What it's about is regaining a lost advantage. If things go back to the way they were, that means that there are more advantage, and therefore there's expectation and entitlement tied into that. So even someone that gets to a healthy percentage of minorities, people of color, women, et cetera, even though there's an argument that particularly white women will continue to benefit and be on the privileged side, which is why they frankly voted the way that they did, they'll get sued. They will get sued for that very reason. So, it's a serious problem. And, we're going to have to decide what we're going to do and how we're going to deal with it, because what they're trying to do is basically go back to the Stone Age and say all of this is ours. All of this belongs to us. And that's where we should be.
Mustafa, I guess, have you seen anything from the NAACP? Anything from the Urban League? Anything from these civil rights groups? I mean, is anybody it's just gonna be like, oh, okay, oh well, all right. So what are they gonna do? Have another panel?
I mean, you hit it on the head. You and I, we often are in alignment with the way that we think about these issues. Frederick Douglass once said that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. And we've seen these companies moving away from DEI and a number of other sets of actions and policies that are critical for the healing of our nation. But yet, you don't see anybody in the street marching. You don't see anybody talking about economic boycotts and taking away resources from these folks, because the other folks on the other side of the equation are saying, yes, we will do this. Yes, we'll take you to court. Yes, we'll do all these other types of things. But then on the side of folks who say that they are trying to actually move this country forward, we don't see that. People are silent. So when you're silent, people think that you are complicit. And they think that you are not gonna, you're not gonna stand up, you're not gonna push back. Yeah, there are always a few voices that do that, but let's be very serious. There has been no strategic plan about how you were going to address these types of things. So people think you're playing. And when they think you're playing, they're not going to take you serious, and they're going to continue to move forward the agenda that they have. So if you want change to happen, then that means you got to put some skin in the game. It means it's not going to be easy. I understand, because I came from a rural community. I saw Walmart move into an area and take away all the mom and pop shops because they couldn't compete with prices. But we've got this dynamic now where folks have got to decide, what are you going to do in this moment? Folks have showed you their cards. And people are still just sitting back saying, well, it can't possibly ever get that bad. They're taking away your wealth because they put the pretty label on it, right? They put this veneer over top about belonging and all the things that, yes, we all agree that those are important. But then when you pull back the veneer, you see that contracting and subcontracting opportunities are going to be taken away. So that means if you talk about the racial wealth gap in this country, but you're allowing corporations to say that we are no longer going to give consideration to the businesses that have often been disinvested in, then I don't know how serious you actually are about trying to make real change happen. It almost seems like someone has to die. When our dear brother George Floyd, had that lynching that happened in front of America and it was caught on camera, then everybody got, and they kind of got motivated there for a moment, and they were willing to do things and stand up and push back and march and show up. And then it began to fade away. And the other folks who've had these long-term strategic plans about how they were going to snatch power, because they've watched what happened in South Africa with apartheidism, and they watched these other countries, how folks have been able to institute things to actually institutionalize racism, to institutionalize poverty. They know what they need to do. But yet we still sit back like they're not going to take it as far as they are. They even put Project 2025 in front of your face, and people didn't even take that serious. And now here in a few weeks, you're going to see how real it really is. So this is just another piece of the puzzle that they're putting together to weaken you, not just in this moment, but they're looking at decades to come, because they understand what happens with the browning of America. It's in your book. Other folks have talked about it as well. And that's where we are right now. And that's why I get frustrated. But at the same time, my frustration is because I know we have power. My grandmother says you have power unless you give it away. And I watch us give our power away every day. They continue to destabilize. They continue to just take these pieces away, and people just busy twerking, busy worrying about what the reality shows are doing, worried about, and don't get me wrong, I was an athlete, what my team just did. And the reality of what's really going on in this moment that will impact your children's children, you continue to stay silent. So if you're going to stay silent, then you get what you get.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation 8 crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.